On today's episode of Bedtime Comics with a Redneck, we will be reading Imperial issue number 1. This is kind of Marvel's next cosmic adventure, if you will. So we start off with you got two people talking about a game they're playing. I'm assuming, I might be wrong, but I'm assuming the color of this guy's skin, maybe Mephisto, but I could be completely wrong. It could just be a red herring. So they were just talking about the game they're playing on this big cosmic scale. We have uh what's his name? That other Hulk for a while. Amedius, what's his name? Cho or Chow or whatever. He's on a ship along with She-Hulk, and Bruce Banner's on there. Bruce Banner has called them all to go along with him. He said it's a family matter, and his son's been killed. Hulk's got, I think, if I remember right, it's like two sons, I think, that he got from the Planet Hulk storyline. So looks like one of them has been killed. So he's taking his family, he calls them, to pay their respects to him. And he is on a new version of the Break World planet, which is what was it called? Shakar. So they arrive, and the first thing they see is there's a lot of fighting going on, and that's usually against the rules. Usually when a king or something, because his son was the king of the new Shakar. And usually when a king or the royal family or somebody dies, the warrior regent dies. It's like the king, because on that world, whoever's the strongest is the king. So when he dies, it's supposed to be peace until after the funeral. And they're, of course, here to attend the funeral, so this fighting shouldn't be going on at the moment. So, of course, Hulk steps in, literally beats the guy. I'm pretty sure he beats the guy to death. He tries to get everybody back in line for a little bit to kind of shake everybody up, to try to scare him back into peace for a little bit while he figures out what's going on, because his son was killed. So he's trying to figure out who killed his son. So they pieced back together this guy that got cut in half. They go to see the Hive people, who've got all this collection of information, and they say that he was poisoned, that it was like a 3-tier poison that worked him down, and then the second tier would start its thing once it opened up the defenses, and then they would both merge to make a third version. The two would come together to make the ultimate poison that would kill him once he was wore down. And there he is, he's dead. And all Hulk really wants to know is who's behind it all. And they need to go visit somewhere else to find that out, because they got to analyze the poison and all this. He asked She-Hulk to stay behind because he needs somebody to keep Shakar in line, because he knows as soon as he leaves, they're going to go right back to infighting again. So he asked She-Hulk to stay behind, and he tells her he'll be back in 5 days, and he promises, you have my word. And we get right here, the Hulk would not return in 5 days. So that tells you right there, things are going to go very sour. So, of course, this is written by Jonathan Hickman, so I have high expectations for it. So, this was just the opening of it. So now we're going to set up another piece of the puzzle here. We are sitting here with Star-Lord and his father Jason, who I haven't followed them long enough. Last I seen, they despised each other, and now Star-Lord's kind of running around with him. I don't know enough about. I haven't been up to date enough on the Guardians to know what happened there. But it looks like Jason's daughter is being infected by this poison as well. So Jason kind of tells his son, we've got a serious problem here, because she's not the only one. He knows about Sakaar, and there's been one or two other hits on these major leaders. And it's all coming at the same time that they're getting ready to have a big galactic meeting. So there's some kind of conspiracy going on. Somebody doesn't want this galactic meeting to happen or to work out right. Hulk goes in right away and wants to be took to the leader, which would be Jason. So we have Hulk getting ready to confront Jason about what's going on. Jason has sent his son to figure out who the murderer and all is. He's kind of sent Star-Lord out to be the detective of all of this. And Star-Lord goes to this bar, runs into Nova, and apparently somewhere along the way, Star-Lord's become one of the most wanted people in the universe. But Star-Lord doesn't seem very bothered by it. He tries to recruit Nova. Nova basically tells him, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not helping." Anytime Jason or somebody's involved, it's not usually good. So you see Gladiator is involved. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces going on here. They tell him, they bring news that everybody's coming together from the Galactic Council except the Wakongans. The Wakongans are not coming. And Jason is a little bothered by that, because in order for this council to move forward, what they want to do, they need the vibranium that the Wakongans can supply them for their uh, their space jump mechanisms and stuff. And without the Wakongans with them, the price the Wakongans charge for the vibranium, they can't afford to pay. So they need the Wakongans to be part of this. So it's a little concerning to them that the Wakongans are stepping out when they're the most needed for this. But he goes out to speak with the Hulk, and they pretty much tell each other about how the same thing is happening to all the Galactic Council. They're all losing members to this poison. this is kind of nice. You've got Star-Lord and Nova watching these former Imperial Guardians, War Stars, fighting each other. Uh, like I was saying before, this is where Nova tells him he's retired, is how he puts it. So he's not interested in helping him. So that's what plays out here. We go back and we have news now from the Hive about they know who made this poison now. And that skips us over to we had the beginnings of the meeting, and they have representation from all these different planets. And Jason says that all the evidence that they've collected points to the Skrull and the Kree, who, of course, the Skrull and the Kree leader, this former Young Avengers, he doesn't know anything about what's going on and tries to tell him, no, we wouldn't have done this. I would have known about it. And one of the Kree under him says, actually, it was us. We generated this weapon because we're makers of weapons. But he said we didn't use it. We just delivered it to somebody. And as he's about to tell him who, he gets shot through the head. And the bullet zips around, takes out a couple people. It hits, of course, one of these. We've seen this horse-headed thing a couple of times in here. And it hits Jason, Star-Lord's father. We don't know if he's dead or not. Not yet. So Hulk goes into action, goes up to see who the sniper is. It's a Wakangan. So that is very interesting because we either have the Wakangans are against what they're doing, which they never really implied that they were. They just said they didn't want to mess with it. Or you have somebody posing as a Wakangan to set a war off with Wakanga. But either way, they end up bombing the place basically. And Hulk, of course, manages to get out along with a bunch of the Imperial Guard. All your mainstays manage to get out and get safe. You have Star-Lord comes back, and I guess his father did die. And he takes the leadership ring from him, which Jason is a very cunning person, so it would not surprise me if Jason wasn't dead or if he's setting all this up to get Star-Lord further behind him. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if I see Jason show up again later. But because Jason was a big part of the Infinity storyline with Thanos, and he was power hungry then, so it wouldn't surprise me. So Nova finally shows up. So I guess I got here a little late, but I'm here. I'm here to help you now. And they're trying to formulate some kind of plan on how they're going to fight back against the Wakangans. Then we've got our little game players in here who they still have not revealed yet. They're going over the vibranium. It was a vibranium bullet. The only place you can find it is Wakanga Prime. They traced the payments bank to the banking houses of Wakanga Prime. So yeah, it ends with them announcing they're going to war against Wakanda, or the galactic Wakandans. I don't know how much T'Challa and the regular Wakandans are going to be involved. I know T'Challa gets involved somehow because we get a mini series that comes out of this or something. So, all in all, there was quite a lot to take in that issue. It was a very, very good issue. The cosmic stuff, I usually try to avoid it, but I don't know why, because every cosmic event I've read has been good. Like Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest. I have not read any of the War of the Kings or none of that. I need to get to those. But this was surprisingly good. With Jonathan Hickman attached to it. It's it's going to be the big epic anyway. Uh, Looking forward to where it goes. So let's go ahead and break down. Let's put our finishing touches on it. The art, I felt, was good and it served its purpose. It, Most of the art stuff, I think, was done by the same guy that does Ultimate Spider-Man. So the art's decent. The art's not great, but it's good. Like, it's good enough that I ain't got no complaints about seeing it here. So I give the art. Let me flip back through. I give the art probably a 7. Because, like I said, it could always be better, but this isn't bad art by any means. This is actually, I'll go up on it. Because look at Nova, that's pretty neat, man. I give it a 7.5. I give the art a 7.5. The story, hopefully, it won't disappoint me when we get to the end. But for right now, I'm giving the story a solid 8.5. It was, especially for me to get involved in something where I don't know a whole lot of the background between these characters, like Hulk's son. I don't know anything about him hardly. Uh, Nova is kind of, unless you were reading Nova in the 90s, Nova is kind of down, hidden, kind of low. And it's a shame because Annihilation got me pretty interested in Nova stuff, but I don't know if I want to read the 90s stuff or not. But this has got me interested enough in the other stuff that to give it an 8.5, I mean, they've done a good job. So overall, I will give this issue a solid 8. And I will be reviewing the second issue, so stick around. And that will finish it for this review.